Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Have you ever grown succulent plants and they started to stretch and are not looking good at all? And this is what they should look like these here. So they're like a bulb like this, and then leaves are all around, and it should sort of like shaped like a rose, and it should be very short. And sometimes you'll see succulents that look like this, and the reason for this is because they're lacking lights. I took these plants inside over the winter to try to keep them alive. These here really didn't need to go inside, but because I had a pot that had jade in there with it, I had to take it inside because the jade would just die. But these here will do just fine. They'll survive down to freezing temperature. So I live in Texas, and this year the temperature got to around 16, 17 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's like freezing temperature. And I left these guys outside, and they were fine. These are called ghost plants, so they're very, very hardy. When I took these inside, as you can see, they began to stretch, and they don't look good at all. So I don't like a pot that look like this. I want it to look nice and full, and I want the plant to look like that. So these are all actually leaves propagation, but you can do it with stems also. So today we're gonna fix that problem by removing these long stems and put it into a new pot, and then grow the plant back so that it would look nice and full. Let's see, we'll just pick a plant or a branch that would look nice. So these enormous leaves here, they're really gonna weight down the plant, so you can just pull these off and propagate them and make new ones. So they're very, very easy. So let me show you some of the ones that I've done already. So just pluck those leaves off and put it on top of soil, and you see eventually they'll start to sprout new little plants. And after a few months they'll start to look like these. So these are, see, this was originally a leaf like this, and then they just grow into these little plants here. And I have these everywhere. I just keep plucking leaves off and they keep growing. So if you want to do that and give some to your friends, that's a good idea. So anyway, let's go ahead and begin the process. I'll just take a good sized branch. This down here, you see how it's falling over? So we're just gonna cut all the way back here. And the most important thing to do is, after you cut it, is to leave this out for a while so that the wound would heal. And you see these here, you really don't need these anymore because they're just gonna weight down the plant. They're gonna fall off if you move it anyway, so just pluck those off, and you can make new plants with those. Okay, so we'll have something like this. So I'll first let this heal. So put it at room temperature or put it somewhere outside of the sun. You don't want it under the sun. And we'll do another one. We'll take a straight branch here. And you see how this shoot is coming out of that? We can just pull that one off too, because it's so stretchy. It doesn't look good. So all of those can be tiny plants again. So all we need is this piece. And you can actually cut it into multiple sections to make it shorter. So that's what I'm gonna do. You see each of these nodes here? Those are growing nodes. So shoots can actually grow out of that eventually. So we'll cut this in half. So now I have 3. Don't forget to remember which side is up and which side is down. I think it really doesn't matter, but it's a good idea because it'll help the plant grow correctly. So when you place it on somewhere to store, you make sure you place it right side up. And I'll do this one as well. You see those nodes right there? They already have something growing. So we'll just cut it right here. Now I have a few. So I have 4 now. So I'm gonna let this dry up for about 30 minutes and then we'll go ahead and plant it. And with these leaves here, look at all these leaves here. And actually, you see these here? We'll use one of this also as one of our specimen, because you see at the top it's actually looking pretty good right here. So we'll cut it right here, or we can bury it really deep. So this one looks kind of dry already, so I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so we have this one branch here, and the soil you want to use is something that can drain really well. I recommend using cactus mix if you have those. This is soil for my garden, and it has pretty good drainage, so that's what I'm gonna do. So because this is pretty long, what we're gonna do is cut it a little bit, maybe here. And then we can use this as another plant. Okay, so I mentioned to leave it out for 30 minutes so that this part would dry, but for the purpose of this video, we're just gonna go ahead and plant it. Make sure you leave it out. So I'll leave it like this here. Put it all the way down into the soil. Okay, so that's one, and we'll wait a little bit before we do the next one because we're waiting for it to dry. Alright guys, it has been about 15 minutes and I think this should be good, but the longer you leave it the better, so that you can ensure these parts are dried and kind of like calloused up a little bit. So it's a good idea to leave it longer. So anyway, we have 5 pieces here and a bunch of leaves over there. Those I'm gonna be using for another pot to propagate, and we're just gonna use these branches for this pot here. And remember to put the shoot upward so that the plant will grow correctly. And this is a large branch, so I'm gonna put it in the middle. Okay, there we have it. So I think that one's the right side up, but we'll see once it starts growing. But we will be back soon once there's progress, and I will update you guys. And make sure you put this in a place that gets plenty of sun. You can put it in full sun if you like, but don't do it right away. Put it in full sun about 1 to 2 days after, so that it doesn't burn that area. If you leave it inside, it may begin to do the exact same thing as what we're trying to prevent, where it's stretched too much. So these plants, they do require a lot of lights because they're desert plants. So give it a lot of sun. Alright guys, so this is where I'm gonna put it. It's sitting in the corner on my patio, and this section gets a lot of light. I think it gets about 5 to 7 hours depending on the season. So that's a good spot for these plants. So we will be back soon. Okay guys, I forgot to cover watering. Don't water these too often. All you need to do is give it a thorough water once the soil is dry, and then allow the water to drain all the way through, and don't water again until the soil is dry again. And it could go pretty long without water, so it's better to water less than to water more. That's how these succulents are. And the soil I was using here was already a moist soil because I got it from my garden, which rained a day before. So I didn't have to water anything like that. So if you do it on your own, make sure to give it a little bit of water. Make sure the soil is moist, and that's it. If it's too wet, the plants are gonna die. So remember, these are succulents, so they have leaves. The leaves already carry water in there, as well as the stem. So water less, better than watering more. But each time you water, make sure you water thoroughly, and then let the soil dry before you water again. Alright guys, it has been over 6 weeks now, and the succulents are doing great. So I started out with 5 of the stems, and I placed these outside, and then we get a lot of rain, and then this thing kind of flooded. Like, it rained today again, so I'll show you what happens when the rain comes. It'll just flood the entire thing, and then it gets too much water. And so what happened was the soil gets too wet, and then a few of the stems died. So I think out of the 5, 2 died, and then I pulled it out. I should have recorded the entire thing, but I forgot. It's been so long. But anyway, I placed 2 more in, and after weeks, they look like this. So the success rate is pretty high. Just make sure the water is not too much. Like, make sure you water thoroughly, and then let the soil dry before you water again. If it sits in water for too long, then the stem is gonna rot. So and that's what happened if you keep this outside like me in the rain. So anyway, I replaced 2 of the stems, and now they all growing really nice. I think they're just they're fighting for space, because each of those stems, they have shoots on the side. You see, like this one here. So it goes that way and it goes that way, and so same with that one. And let me show you what else I've done. Oops, I kind of broke one. That's okay. For all of the leaves that I pulled off, look at what I did. I dropped it in the grass. You see here? And over these weeks, they actually sprouted. Look at this. Like, no soil. So the water, this water here is from the rain earlier. See that? Not all of them, but most of them. So these plants are really, really tough. And then for the branches, I cut them, and I left them here, and then they kind of sprouted some roots. Look at this. You see that? So I chopped it off of the parent plant, and here there were just so many that they start to hang off. So I cut a bunch of it off so that they can regrow. So I have so many, and then so that one's looking good. I just need to plant these, maybe chop it up a little bit more, and then see that? Those are roots right there. So they will sprout root even without water. Every now and then when the rain comes, it spray water onto these. You see this here? That's the little shoot there. So that will turn into plant on these stems. So leaves can be propagated, stems can be propagated. The stems are much better because they will grow better than the leaves. The leaves will just take a long time, but you can get lots and lots of succulents out of this. So let me show you. You see here? These are all leaves. So I didn't have any more space to put the leaves in here, so I put it there in the grass. and it still works. So I'll show you a few more places that I did this with. And then I put 1 leaf in here. Look at this. You see? So the leaf grew all of these plants. So it's just so many. And then I put 2 leaves in Groot, in this guy here. And then very little nutrients is in the soil. I haven't changed anything, so they still grow. All they need is just a little bit of soil and water, and then they will grow. And look at this. These are all originally one leaf. So we just have rain a while ago, and so you see this. So let me pour it. You see that? That's how much water there is in here, because the rain was just crazy a while ago. It was like a huge storm, and then it went away. So it kind of flooded those containers. See, a few of the leaves fell over here. You see that? It fell into the soil, and it grew. So these are really easy. So as you can see, these are very, very easy type of plants to propagate. I recommend cutting the stems because they will look the best and they will grow fastest. But the leaves will also propagate easily, and then you just have to wait like 6-7 weeks, and they'll be maybe that size. And then this one here is probably a few months. But if you have nice fertile soil, good place where it can get sun, it'll grow very fast. So if you take this stem here and put it into a good pot of soil that can drain really well, it will grow very fast. So that is it, guys. That is how easy it is to propagate these succulents. And if you're wondering what these are, they're ghost plants. That's what they call the ghost cactus. So I'll put some links so that you can check them out and read more about them. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.